Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial. In this video I'll be showing you how to draft a princess bustier. If you're new to this channel, please kindly subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for staying with me on this channel. Now let's get started. First measurement I'm putting is the shoulder measurement. So I'm just going to draft a basic bodice first. That's a basic half scale bodice. Then the armhole measurement is 8.5. So I put that 8 inches also here and draw it up. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to draw the shoulder slant, which is 1.5 for the front, and then the natural neckline of 3 inches, and then I'll draw my shoulder slant. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to pull the shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to waist plus seam allowance. So I'll put it here also, the shoulder to bust, the shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to waist plus seam allowance. Then I'll draw it out. So I'm going to label my line. This is the waist, the seam allowance. This is the under bust, this is the bust, and then the chest line. So now on the bust, I'm going to put the bust divided by 4, and then on the waist, I'll put the waist divided by 4, and then I'll connect it. Then I'll draw the armhole measure and the armhole. I'll measure whatever is left from this point and divide it by 2. I'll get the midpoint, and from that midpoint I'll go in by 0.75, and then I'll draw the armhole. Alright. So I've done the armhole. Now what I'm going to put next is the nipple to nipple measurement. The nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I'm putting it on the bust and on the seam allowance or on the waist. Then you draw it like this. Then I'll come down by 1 inch from the bust, and then I'll mark 0.75 on both sides of the waist. So basically I'm drawing a waist dart. Okay, then I'll put the bust dart, which is the difference between the shoulder to waist for the front and shoulder to waist for the back. So mine is 1 inch. Okay, now I'm going to connect this midpoint of the armhole to the bust point to draw the armhole darts. So we have the waist dart, the bust dart, and then the armhole dart. Now with the armhole dart alone, it gives us the Armhole Princess dart. Okay, so from this midpoint now I came down by 1 inch and also connect it to the bust point. So now when I'm connecting it to the bust point, I'll create an extension of 1 inch. Okay, I'll go out by additional 1 inch to make up for this parts that I'll be cutting out. Okay, so I'll give an extension of 1 inch here. And connect it like this. Okay, so 1 inch from that point. So on this point I'm going to redraw the armhole. So just redraw the armhole like this. All right, so like this we have a princess dart. Then I'm going to mark the neck wideness depending on what you are using. You decide to use a v-neck or a round neck, it all depends on you. So I'm just going to draw out the neck. Oh, sorry, I have to move the paper. Okay, so I've done half the neck. I've done half the neck. Okay, so now we have drawn a princess dart. The difference between a princess dart and a princess bustier is the underbust tightening here. That's just the difference between the two. The underbust tightening. Now, to do the underbust tightening, I'll use the bust divided by 4 minus the underbust divided by 4. Whatever you get is what you're going to use. For some, it's up to 1.5. For some, it's up to 2 inches. So you are going to share it on both sides of this dart leg, outside this dart leg, outside the dart leg that is coming from the waist. So I'm going to be using 1.5. Now I'll use the 1.5 divided by 2 will have been 0.75, but I will not share it equally because I don't want this place to be small. So I'm going to put 0.6 here and 0.8 here. The 0.6 is the mark after this mark after the half inch, and the 0.8 is the mark after the 3/4, which is 0.75. This mark, that's what I call it. So I'm going to put that here and then the 0.8 here. Okay, so I mark it outside the dart leg, and then again I used to confirm it by just measuring what I have all through. For my side, it should not be more than, from this point to the other one, 2.25. Should not be more than 2.25. But for a plus size person, you can have as much as 3 inches. So most time when I use the actual bust divided by 4 minus underbust divided by 4, I still measure again to make sure that I'm on track. So for my size here, like 1.25 2.25 is okay. Then for some 2.5 or 3 inches depending. So now this point, now I'm going to connect it to this dart leg on the waist for the 2 sides. Okay, and then I'll use this curvy part now to draw out the cup area. So I'll make sure that the curvy part rests on the bust area. So I'm just going to place it like this. Now when I'm placing it, I'll make it to be a bit away from this bust point, these dots that I have on the bust area. Okay, and then I'll make sure that it rests on this line that is coming from the armhole, and then it rests on the line on this under bust. So this is how I'm going to place it. Just look at it carefully so that you have a perfect curve. Okay, so I make sure that it is a bit away. Now if I'm using pen, I will make the distance to be this much. Okay, even though it will not be on the bust point, but because I'm using a marker, it's a bit wide. Okay, so I'll curve it like this. Can see. So now we have our curve, right? Then I'll curve the other side too. The other side, I'll make sure it can rest on the dot on the bust. Okay, so this is it. Now you have your princess bustier. So we converted the princess dart to a princess bustier. This is what will give the cup that firm look. Okay, thank you for staying to the end of this video. So the parts that you're going to be cutting out are just this part. Okay, I did another video for the back, so I'm going to be attaching it to this video so that we can see. For the back, you can use a princess cut or a normal waist dart for the back. It all depends on you. So you may use a normal waist dart for the back, and then use a princess cut. So when you are cutting, you see that I did not cut exactly on this line because I still want to fold it. Then I'll cut out this dart like this. So I did another video for princess dart and princess cut. Okay, so I'll drop the link of the video in the description box so that if you are using a princess cut for your back, you will be able to see the video. Thank you for watching this video, and thank you for staying up to this minute of the video. Like I said earlier, if you are new to the channel, please kindly subscribe. And for all my returning subscribers, I thank you for staying with me on this channel. If there is any video you would like to see on the channel, please put it in the comment section and we are going to work on it. So now when you're cutting the armhole, you cut this new one. Okay, you can see the way I cut it. So this is how your princess bustier will look like. Okay, for the one that I did for the princess cut for the back, this is how it looks like. Okay, this is if you are using a princess cut for the back, and then the princess bustier has this fitting, and then this is how the princess cut looks like. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you.